Hey guys, it's me Mr. 250 and welcome back to Umineko. Sorry, it's been a few days. Once again I got dreadfully sick, but I think I'm recovering. Let's hope I don't get dreadfully sick again.
同じゲーム版を使う以上、この子にできないことはできません。しかし、この子がやらないことはやれます。
やらないこととは何だ？
チェスの道具はチェスで遊ぶために存在します。それを使ってトランプをすることはできない。しかしチェスの駒を相手に投げつけてぶつけたり、チェス盤に落書きしてみたり、そういう行為をすることも不可能ではありません。しかしそれはチェスに対する冒涜だから誰もやらない。
That definitely wouldn't be chess anymore. It looked like Bito's eyes clouded very slightly with sadness.
これは俺とベアとのゲームだ。他の誰にも冒涜はさせない。
At that time, golden butterflies gathered in Ronove. Oh, good on Ronove. I haven't seen Ronove in a while. Holding a tea set with black tea appeared.
紅茶のおかわりはいかがですか？
もらえるか？
かしこまりました。いかがですか？お嬢様の思考を探る旅は。
さっぱりだが楽しんでるぜ。
しかしよろしいのですか？こちらでくつろがれていても。
あの魔女どもが勝手に進めてるゲームのことか？
ええ、先ほど紅茶をお届けに伺った時にはもう第一の番の殺人が起こ
Wow, they're on a roll, aren't they?
もうじきその次の殺人も起こりそうな気配でした。
When Bito and I were playing, the game would be paused whenever someone left their seats. However, those witches wouldn't pause that game just because I wasn't around.
ロノウェは奴らのゲームを見たのか？
一部ではございますが。
どうだった？
Ronove lifted the pot high with an elegant gesture as he poured the black tea. After finishing that, he finally said one thing. He let us hear his impression of it.
愛がありませんな。
And without love, it can't be seen!
なんだ？
これは失礼。女性風に申し上げるとです。男性風に申し上げるならば、義理が通らぬと申しましょうか。
I understood what those words meant. When I met Virgilia's eyes, she shook her head slightly and stared at the floor.
上辺は大変よくお嬢様のゲームに似せていると思います。しかし根本が大きく異なっています。
それはベアとのゲームのルールに反することなのか？
いいえ、反しません。ラムダデルタ様はお嬢様のゲームのルールを実によく理解なされております。しかし
Battler stood up. There was no need to make Ronove say any more.
バトラク。
ロノウェ、すまない。せっかく入れてもらったけど、紅茶はいらねえぜ。
やはり参られますか？
ああ、俺たちのゲームに部外者はいらない。
These guys weren't even here in the beginning. Because I've been loafing about, crazier and crazier witches have been introduced. Oh man, here comes the crab squad. And now they've hijacked this game between me and Beatrice.
取り返さねえとな。ベアとのゲーム版は今は俺が預かってるはずなんだ。その俺がここでぼんやりしてるわけにはいかない。
ありがとう。その言葉をこの子に聞かせてやりたかった。
きっと聞こえていますよ。お嬢様はそれにお返事することができないだけです。
Bito lay there silently, like a living doll with dull eyes. The game board that she had created herself had been hijacked by incomprehensible people and was being turned into a mess. If I was designated to be her opponent, then Beto must have created this game for me. I've gotta take it back.
待ってろ。俺が取り返してくる。
Of course, Beto didn't respond in any way. That's right. If she can't respond, then I have to protect it in her place.
行ってくるぜ。バルギリア、ロノエ、黄金の眠り姫の面倒を頼むぜ。
はい、お任せ。
いってらっしゃい、バトラ君。そしてどうかこの子のいないゲームにてこの子の何かを見つけてあげてください。もしそれを見つけることができたなら、たとえこの子が不在であっても、あなたはこの子と戦ってくれたことになる。
そうだよな。ああ、全然ダメだぜ。俺は何をやってるんだ。
Let's go. And let's take it back.
魔女ども、待たせたな。俺の休憩は終わりだぜ。
When he faced the jet black heavens and yelled this, the whole world shattered, as though it were made out of thin glass. Then, as though it had been that way since the beginning, it transformed into that smoking room where Battler had fought Beto so many times, in which the two witches had now hijacked.
なにあんた、今頃戻ってきたの？超遅すぎ。もうゲームは2日目どころか大詰めも大詰めよ。
Oh, wow, it's a whole lot nicer. Don't have to deal with all that beginning crap.
バトラがいつまでも来ないから私が勝手に進めちゃったわ。
Yeah, like you ever even waited for me in the first place.
ベルンはあんたよりずーっと頭が冴えてて痛快だったわよね。
うるせえ。プレイヤーは俺だ。代役の魔女どもは引っ込んでろ。
別に今から参加しても構わないけど、もう出番ないわよ多分。
確かに。だってもうクライマックスのクライマックス。これで多分ベルンが詰めたゲームセットだもの。
なんだと。
いいんじゃない？最後の詰めくらい見物しても。
そうね。おいでなさい、後ろ宮バトラ。もうほとんどおしまいだけど、私の作ったキュートでエレガントなゲーム、
Oh
エピソード
boy.
5 End of the Golden Witch.
Oh boy. Oh boy, what are we gonna see here? The cute and elegant game. What? Is this... What? Okay. Do we have to read all this to learn the story at this point? Shirmi Kinzo. Studies packed with grimoires. That's not what I was wanting to know. I'm kind of confused. Her corpse was found in the cousin's room on the second floor of the guest house. The direct cause of death is unknown, but her neck was sliced open by a sharp blade. There's a lot of sharp blades. Though I do notice that there's an awful lot of not dead people right now. And to tell you the truth, I'm not... Oh, hey, look at this. I suppose I should be reading all this. The Witch of Miracles, also known as the witch who knows that miracles don't occur. In the 5th game, she participates as a player in opposition to Beto. However, from the very beginning, her aim has been to deny the illusion of the witch. Her only goal is to crush Beto, and her world is a way to stave off boredom. Though she does deny the illusion of the witch, she's no ally of battlers. The Golden Witch and the Endless Witch. Bito's Peace, who speaks on behalf of the illusion of the witch. She claims that all the crimes on Rokonjima were caused by the illusion of the witch. In the 5th game, she clashes with Bern Castell, who denies this illusion. Because she herself is nothing more than a piece, and the higher plane version of her has lost her position as Game Master. She does not know the truth behind the 5th game. That means she's in a different position than the one she held in previous games. 5th game, he's displeased that Lambda Delta has taken over as Game Master, so he does not participate as a player. She serves as the new Game Master. It's expected that while the 5th game may be quite similar to the previous ones, there will be differences. She hates boredom as much as Bern Castell, and depending on the situation, she may become either an enemy or an ally for Bito and Bern. So, yeah, I mean, the only difference that I was able to see from that was that their throats were slashed. Anything else of interest? Not really. Yeah, it's interesting. That was like very weird. I didn't expect it to just go into the menu screen like that. Right now, no humans exist on this island except for those in this parlor. And with one exception, it has been shown that none of them have committed murder. And the culprit is among these people.
おいおいとなると決定的じゃねえか
魔女が犯人で魔法で殺人を犯したわけでない限り
Yeah, but Kiri, witches don't exist. That's dumb.
あんたなの？あんたがジョージを、主人を殺したの？どうしてよ？どうして？私は殺していません。私は何も。
In a panic and with a voice that really couldn't be called flowing. In a manner that was, to put it coldly, unsightly, Natsui Obasan denied the suspicion placed upon her. However, there was no longer any way around it. She stood up, brushed back her long hair, pointed at Natsui Obasan, and said it one more time.
あなたが犯人です。
Who's this lolly girl?
後宮夏日さん。
Got more chibi anime characters. Oh boy, here comes that intro. I do really like those PS3 sprites. They look a whole lot better. As she knocked loudly and repeatedly, Natsui yelled. Shortly after, there was a heavy clunking sound, and the sound of the door to Kinzo's study unlocking could be heard. As the door opened, a heavily sweet, venomous odor flowed out. Natsui was always ashamed of how she automatically grimaced at that, even though she thought it rude to the family head. Cross was waiting for her inside the study. Natsui flew into his arms.
お父様は
落ち着きたまえ。今、南條先生が見ている。
With an uncertain gait, Natsui went towards the center of the study, supported by Cross. There, a dignified bed fitting for the Ushirimiya family head could be seen, along with Nanjo, Genji, and Kumasawa.
南條先生、お父様は
After sighing deeply, Nanjo left the side of the bed. Sorry, he's dead. On the bed, Kinzo could be seen lying down, sleeping.
大往生だ。金蔵さんも心残りはなかった。
His only regret was that he couldn't cackle and say Beatrice more.
お父様
Natsui fell against the chest of Kinzo, the man who had fallen into a sleep from which he would never awaken, and sobbed.
奥様どうかしっかりお父様
And Natsui fails brilliantly at that.
突然だって
Natsui couldn't stop her tears over the death of Kinzo, whom she had loved like a second father. Kumasawa rubbed Natsui's back, consoling her. Cross slumped into his late father's favorite chair. By sitting there, he might have been immersed in memories of his departed father. Or perhaps he thought that by sitting there, he might be able to understand just a bit of the madness of Kinzo's later years, which he had never been able to understand before. And Nanjo too, just like the times when Kinzo used to sit in that chair, contemplating a chess move, turned his back and looked down over the outside world through a crack in the curtains.
同じ死ぬなら、せめて寝込んで1年後に死亡とか。もう少し、しかるべき準備の猶予期間を設けてから死んで欲しかったのに。
それは逆だ。最後の瞬間までお元気だったことを喜ぶべきです。
建前上はそうなるがね。
Nanjo understood that as well. Ushirimiya Kinzo, who had risen like a comet in the business world after the war and glittered like a supernova, had died. His funeral would probably be of a fantastic scale, and it would also be the ceremony of marking Cross's inheritance of the headship. He would have to arrange everything as the host of the event, carry out funeral diplomacy perfectly, and make it clear that the Ushirimiya family still had an enormous influence in the political and financial spheres. As Nanjo watched Cross, he was vividly reminded of the time when Kinzo had been suddenly selected as the Ushirimiya family head, the time in which Kinzo had been lost and confused. In this way, he was able to understand Cross's distress and sympathize with it. Natsui's sobs eventually subsided. Watching this and leaving Kumasawa to care for Natsui as a fellow woman, Genji returned. And as though asking what should be done, Genji lowered his head slightly.
手続き等は私と源氏さんでやろう。クラウスさんはまずは親戚の方々に連絡した方がいいでしょうな。
Cross, with his hand still over his eyes, didn't respond. Perhaps even though he had known this day would come. Cross really couldn't hide his shock at how suddenly it had reached them.
私と南條先生にお任せを。旦那様はまずは奥様とご相談いただくのが良いかと思います。
Maybe she had heard that, or maybe it was a coincidence. As though responding to Genji's words, Natsui came over. Her eyes were red from crying so much, but she apparently understood the heavy responsibility that had been imposed on them even better than Cross did.
これからはあなたが栄光ある後宮家の当主です。お父様の後を立派に継いだことを内外に示しましょう。この夏日、あなたの妻として棺を並べる日までお仕えする覚悟です。
Trying to encourage her husband, who was overcome with shock, Natsui lent him some reassuring words. When Cross finally lowered the hands that had been covering his face, he looked up at the ceiling with a blank expression and let out a deep, deep sigh.
どうかしっかり。お父様の残したものを食い荒らそうと目論む輩が大勢いるのですよ。私たちはお父様の名誉と財産を守るために戦わなければなりません。それが後宮家当主の最初の仕事ですよ。
分かってる。分かっているとも。
南條先生と源氏はお役所や葬儀業者への手配をお願いします。特に源氏、お父様の葬儀にふさわしいものとなるよう特に手配を頼みますよ。
かしこまりました。
それから南條先生、お父様は病院でお亡くなりになったわけではないので、
場合によっては解剖が入るかもしれませんな。
なんとかなりませんか。亡くなったとはいえお父様の大切なお体です。傷をつけるなど耐えられることではありません。
気持ちはわかる。だがそういうところをきっちりすることも大切だ。それにこう言ってはなんだが、難しい親族の方々が多いんじゃないかね。
Who knows where those vultures after the inheritance would try to place blame? They might start an uproar over some suspicious point regarding the cause of death, and use that as a point of contention to start some trouble. Right now, not only was it important to pay Kinzo's remains the respect that they were due, but they also had to focus on solidifying the position of the new family head, Cross.
わかりました。必要最小限にお願いします。間違ってもお父様の威厳が損なわれるようなお姿にしないように。
I'm pretty sure he damaged his own dignity with his mad ravings.
それは大丈夫だ。安心しなさい。とにかく金蔵さんのことはわしらに任せて、夏日さんはクラウスさんのそばにいてあげなさい。これからが大変なんだから。
分かっています。あなたもどうかしっかり。
Cross was still staring lazily at the ceiling, with a befuddled expression on his face. She understood the shock and heavy responsibility. Natsui understood her husband's feelings as much as anyone.
親族への連絡は私今だけは休まれてください。
Cross didn't respond. Natsui had thought him to be just a bit unreliable at the moment, and so had decided that she must support him. Seeing her husband like this actually stirred Natsui up, and a resolute expression rose to her face.
これから忙しくなります。今できることを始めましょう。夫はきっとお父様と二人きりで話したいこともあると思います。私たちは一度ここを退出し。
そうでございますね。その時間はきっと今しか取れないでしょうから。
being in charge of a funeral is tiring work. There's no time to shed tears. If Cross were ever given time to cry for his dead father, that time would have to be now. Everyone agreed with Kumasawa's words. Even so, Cross continued to lazily gaze up at the ceiling and didn't respond in any way. Natsui urged the servants to go.
私はジェシカにも話してきます。今やあの子が次期当主です。それにふさわしい自覚を持つようによく言い聞かせなくては。
待て。
As they each started to make their way out of the study, Cross finally spoke. They stopped walking.
はい。
待て。
はい。
Hadn't she already stopped walking? Just like her husband had asked? But despite that, he had once again told her to wait. From those slightly weak words, Natsui understood that he had probably stopped her because he wanted her to be by his side.
お前たちは下へ。私は夫と言います。何かあったらここに電話するように。
かしこまりました。
だから待てと言っている。
Oh, Cross is angry. He spoke with the big words. When Cross suddenly raised his voice, everyone jumped and turned around. Unable to comprehend what she had done to spark her husband's wrath, Natsui ran up to him.
どうしましたあなた。私は何か失礼なことを口にしてしまいましたか。だったらお許しを。
いや、違う。そうじゃない。そうじゃない。少し待て。時間をくれ。
ええ、分かっています。心を整理するためにも必要です。私たちはその時間をあなたにあげようと、ここから静かに出ていくだけですよ。
だからそれを待てというのだ。いいか、誰もその場から動くな。一歩たりともだ。疲れたなら椅子にでもソファーにでも好きに座ればいい。だから何も喋らずに静かに黙って何もせずにいろ。
Angry Cross. Those unreasonable words felt like a glimpse of how Kinzo used to be. Natsui couldn't hide a slight surprise at those words, which made it seem as though Kinzo had possessed her husband or something. Natsui told the servants to wait for the time being. She ordered them to sit in a sofa a short distance off, approached her husband and spoke to him in a small voice.
あなたがお命じになれば、夏日はいくらでも待ちます。とどまります。ですからどうか、お気を鎮められてください。
違う。そうではない。
Use your words, Cross.
そうでは
You
な
don't
い
just
の
have to say wait. Was it really blood? Or was he actually being possessed? Cross's disorderly style of speech strongly resembled Kinzo's. As she watched this, Natsui became certain that Cross was Kinzo's son after all, and that he was the true successor to the head, more suitable than any other person.
夏日、こっち。
Cross stood up and headed towards the window, trying to lengthen the distance between himself and the servants waiting on the sofa by even a small amount. Natsui realized that he must have something secret that he wanted to talk about.
はい、あなた、何事ですか？
What is it indeed? We'll wait for that next time. I don't know if this is a bad spot to stop, but I am going to do it anyway. I'm not quite sure where we're at in the timeline. I forgot what if it said we were on the first or second day. So I don't actually know. Whoops. Oh well. I'll probably figure it out while I'm rewatching the video. But this is definitely an interesting turn of events. Is it not? They're actually having time to mourn for Kinzo's death rather than be like, well, looks like he died in a fire, but since we have a crazy murderer chasing us around, we probably shouldn't mourn him too much. I don't know. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Oh, wanted to say one quick thing real quick since it's related to visual novels in this. There was a visual novel that I actually got 2 recommendations for recently. on Steam that I'm mildly interested in. What is it called? I just downloaded it. It's called Sound of Drop Fall into Poison, which is kind of a weird title, but apparently it's pretty good. Steam reviews said it was good, and then I got one good review from somebody, and somebody else said they were really interested and they were about to play through it. So I might be doing that at some point soon, because it looks interesting. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for some more Umineko. Bye!